You ever feel like love just doesn't work for you? Like no matter how much you try, something always feels off? Maybe you've been in relationships that started off promising but fell apart for reasons you couldn't explain. Maybe you felt misunderstood, like no one truly sees you. Or maybe you've never even had the kind of love you crave, because every time you get close, something inside you pulls away. You've been told you're too much, too intense, too complicated, too deep. You overthink, analyze everything, sense shifts in energy before others even notice. And after a while, you start to wonder, is it me? Am I the problem? But what if I told you that these struggles aren't a flaw? They're a sign? Because what you're experiencing isn't random. These are the same struggles that haunted some of the greatest minds in history. Isaac Newton died a virgin, Nikola Tesla lived alone. Even Einstein, despite being a genius in physics, had a deeply troubled love life. Why? Because highly intelligent people experience love differently. They don't just feel it, they question it, dissect it, resist it. But why does intelligence make love so difficult? Schopenhauer understood this long before modern psychology. He saw something that most people don't want to admit. Love is not what we think it is. It's not some magical force that brings two souls together. It's a biological mechanism designed to pull us into relationships. And when you start seeing through that illusion, love stops feeling like destiny and starts feeling like a game where the rules don't make sense. And that's why intelligent people struggle the most. But what if understanding this is the key to finally making love work for you? Let's go deeper. So if highly intelligent people struggle in love, what's really going on? Why does it feel like no matter how much you try, something keeps holding you back? Schopenhauer had an answer that most people aren't ready to hear. Love isn't what you think it is. It's not fate, not some cosmic force designed to bring soulmates together. It's a biological illusion, one built to control you. Think about it. Love makes people irrational. It consumes their thoughts, makes them chase after someone who might not even be right for them. It blinds them to red flags, traps them in heartbreak, and keeps them coming back for more. Why? Because love isn't about your happiness. It's about the survival of the species. It's a mechanism designed to pull you into relationships, whether they're right for you or not. Most people never question this. They just fall into love, get swept up in emotions, and follow the script society laid out for them. But you see through it. You analyze emotions instead of surrendering to them. You recognize patterns, sense when things don't add up. And once you start questioning love, once you see the cracks in the illusion, it stops feeling magical, and starts feeling manufactured. That's why intelligent people struggle the most, because love demands blind faith, and faith is hard when you see too much. So if love isn't what we thought, and what now? If you can't unsee the truth, how do you navigate love without falling into the same trap as everyone else? Let's go deeper. Love is supposed to feel natural. It's supposed to flow. People say, when you know, you know. But for you, it never feels that simple, eh? While others dive into relationships without hesitation, you hesitate. You analyze. You question everything. Instead of just feeling love, you dissect it. Instead of getting lost in the moment, your mind keeps searching for answers. And that's the problem. Love wasn't designed for deep thinkers. It thrives on instinct, on raw emotion, on surrendering to something bigger than logic. But how do you do that when your brain refuses to shut off? You notice patterns that others miss. You sense shifts in energy before they're even spoken. You see red flags not after they happen, but before they fully unfold. And once you see these things, you can't unsee them. Most people don't question love. They don't stop to analyze why they feel the way they do. They follow their emotions without hesitation, trusting that love will guide them. But you think too much to let love happen naturally. You see the cracks forming in real time. You feel when attraction starts fading, even before the other person realizes it themselves. You pick up on contradictions in words and actions, and once you notice them, you can't go back to ignoring them. At first, this feels like a gift, the ability to see reality clearly, but over time it starts to feel like a curse. Because while everyone else can embrace love with a kind of blind faith, your mind refuses to let you believe in something that feels unstable. That's why highly intelligent people struggle in love. Because love demands a kind of blindness, a willingness to trust, to stop questioning, to let go. And that's something your mind was never designed to do. But if intelligence makes love harder, does that mean you're doomed to struggle forever? Not necessarily, because once you understand the real reason love feels so difficult, you can finally learn how to make it work. Let's go even deeper. If love already feels complicated for you, modern society makes it even worse. We live in a world where superficiality wins. Dating apps, social media, hookup culture, everything is designed for instant gratification. Quick matches, mindless swipes, conversations that never go beyond the surface. And if you're someone who craves depth, someone who wants real connection, you're at a disadvantage because society doesn't reward deep thinkers. It rewards those who don't question, who don't hesitate, who can jump into relationships without thinking twice. And if that's not you, the world makes you feel like you're the problem. You see people moving from one relationship to the next, forming connections easily, never stopping to analyze the meaning of it all. Meanwhile, you're stuck wondering why love feels so different for you. But here's the truth. There's nothing wrong with you. The system itself is broken. We've built a culture that prioritizes speed over substance. That tells people to just go with it instead of questioning what they truly need. But you're wired to see beyond the surface, and that makes everything harder. And this leads to an even bigger problem, one that might be the real reason you struggle to find love. Because when you don't fit into the world's version of love, sometimes you start pushing it away yourself. Let's go even deeper. It's easy to blame society, to say the world isn't built for people like you. And that's true, but there's something deeper happening. What if the real reason you struggle in love isn't just because of others, but because of you? Carl Jung called it the shadow self, the part of you that holds fears, insecurities, and hidden beliefs you don't even realize are controlling you. And for highly intelligent people, that shadow often carries one devastating truth. You fear love just as much as you desire it. Why? Because love requires vulnerability. It demands letting go. And when you're used to being in control, when your mind is always searching for patterns, predicting outcomes, avoiding risks, that kind of surrender feels dangerous. You might tell yourself you want deep connection, but deep down you fear rejection. You fear being misunderstood. You fear giving your heart to someone who might not value it the way you do. So you build walls. You rationalize your way out of relationships. You convince yourself that no one is worth your time, when in reality, you're scared of what might happen if you truly let someone in. And the worst part? You don't even realize you're doing it. But here's the question. If intelligence makes love harder, does that mean you're doomed to be alone? Not necessarily, because once you see the pattern, you can finally break free from it. Let's go even deeper. If you made it this far, you already know the truth. Love is complicated for people like you. Not because you're broken, not because you're incapable of love, but because your mind works differently. So what's the solution? It's not lowering your standards. It's not pretending to be someone you're not. It's learning how to work with your nature instead of against it. The first step? Stop overanalyzing love like a problem that needs solving. Love isn't a formula, it's an experience. The more you try to predict, control, or dissect it, the more you disconnect from it. The second step? Embrace emotional risk. Love will always come with uncertainty. And yes, that's terrifying for a mind that craves logic and structure. But real connection isn't found in control. It's found in letting go, even when it feels uncomfortable. And finally, find people who can meet you at your depth. The world might be full of shallow connections, but that doesn't mean true love is impossible. It just means it's rare. And if you're wired to see beyond the surface, then the right connection will never be with someone who only lives on it. You don't have to change who you are to find love. You just have to stop letting your mind be the thing that keeps you from it. But before we close this out, there's one last truth you need to hear. Let's wrap this up. So here's the truth. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not incapable of love. You just see the world differently. And that means you have to approach love differently too. Most people fall into relationships blindly. They don't question, they don't analyze, they just follow the script. But you think, you see, you understand, and that makes love harder, but it also makes it more meaningful when you find the right person. So the real question is, will you keep letting your mind sabotage you, or will you start using it to build the kind of love that actually fulfills you? Let's talk. Drop a comment below. Do you think intelligence makes love harder, or is there a way to make it work? If this video hit home for you, make sure to like and subscribe. We dive deep into topics like this every week, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, And most importantly, don't give up on love.